Isolations look so cool, but they can be such a huge challenge to learn. But with these 5 drills, I'll get you started on the right foot. Drex here from DrexFactor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, I'm going to take you through the 5 best drills that I know to help you get down your poi isolations. Before we dive in though, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecha, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spin Balls, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friend of the channel, Pekha Pekkonen. Thank you so very much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. Poi isolations are eye-catching and a phenomenal personal challenge. They're also really difficult to get down. The kinesthetic awareness that it takes to learn isolations can take a long time to develop, but that doesn't mean that there aren't some methods that we can use in order to get some shortcuts. So today I want to share with you 5 of my favorite drills that help you build up that kinesthetic awareness and get you into your isolations faster and more cleanly. And whether you've just started off or you've been spinning for years, I guarantee I will have at least one drill on this list that will help you out with your isolation technique. So let's dive in. Drill number 1, driving styles. Alright, so you'd be forgiven for thinking this is a bit of a non sequitur, but stick with me for a second, because this is one of my favorite drills to give beginners in general. It starts off by just performing a pendulum. That is, you want to have the poi just kind of hanging beneath your hand as you move it around in a big circle. This means that you want to take energy away from it as you're going around over top and let it fall down to the floor as it is going down beneath your shoulders. From here, we want to switch over into doing extensions. That is, now we're putting enough energy on the poi that it's going to spin above our hand as we are going from side to side. Finally, we're going to go ahead and add a pedal at the very top, making the poi go around our hand as it continues on its way in that big circle. So we want to move between these 3 different possibilities. We want to go pendulum, extension, in-spin flower, pendulum, extension, in-spin flower. The reason being, this teaches us something very important. As we're switching between these 3 different possibilities, we have to add and subtract energy to the poi. That is knowledge that's going to be super helpful to us in creating isolations, because similarly, there are going to be points where we have to add energy to the poi and take it away in order to get that nice feeling where both the poi and the hand are moving around a circle of the same size. It also doesn't hurt that this drill just helps in general for maintaining control over the momentum of the poi. Whether you're playing around with isolations or flowers or any number of other transition tricks such as pendulums or stalls, this is actually going to help you get full control of the poi's momentum, which is really going to come in handy. Alright, so next up, we're actually going to play around with something that looks like an isolation. Drill number 2, linear isolations. Alright, so at the very least, this one has isolation in the title, even if it's not necessarily what we would recognize as a conventional poi isolation, but it is still important. Here's why. Now, when we're performing linear isolations, what we're really looking to do is we're moving our hand from side to side, and we want to go ahead and do that in such a way that the poi gets to spin around the hand as it's doing that. So, if I start my right hand poi spinning clockwise over on my left hand side, I will drop my poi down my center line, and as my hand passes above the poi head, I bring it all the way out to my right hand side. So essentially we drop down as the right hand is going over to the right hand side. Coming back, we want to pop the poi head up our center line and sneak our right hand underneath it. So it is dropping over to the right and popping over to the left. Drop, pop, drop, pop. We want to learn how to do the same thing with the left hand. Same direction though. Same thing, we bring it over to the left-hand side, spinning clockwise, we drop it down our center line, take it over to the right, pop it up our center line, take it over to the left. We drop, we pop, we drop, we pop. It's also helpful to learn how to do this with the hand moving up and down a vertical line. So for example, I can start my right hand down here near my waist, and I will pop the poi head out to the right as my hand reaches up to the top, and pop my poi head out to the left as it drops back down. Pop out to the right, pop out to the left, pop out to the right, pop out to the left. Same thing with the left hand. Pop out to the right, pop out to the left, pop out to the right, pop out to the left. Now, when we put these pieces together, we can actually create a nice little combination of these linear isolations that allows us to bring our hands very close together and create little moments that look very much like an isolation is taking place. The pattern for this is, with my right hand out to the right side and my left hand on the left side, my hands come together, my left hand will go up, my right hand will go down, my hands come together, my right hand goes up, my left hand goes down, my hands come together, and then back out to sides, and we repeat. So, again, out to the sides, they come together, left up, come together, right up, come together, and out to the sides. So we go together, left up, together, right up, and back out to the sides. Here, 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 over and over again. And hey, look at that. That spot in the middle there sure looks a lot like an isolation now, doesn't it? While not technically an isolation in and of itself, performing this exercise will give you a feel for what happens when your hands lock into that position where they're separated by a single poise length. This is really important not just for identifying what the feel of an isolation is eventually going to be, but also this gives you a transition tool in and out of isolations to be able to switch back into other flower-based tricks as well. Alright, so I've given you 2 drills now that are isolation-like but still give you some basic understanding of what the trick looks like. Now, let's actually dive into the trick itself. Drill number 3, stirring the pot. So this is actually the first drill that I ever encountered for learning how to do poi isolations. And I want to say I got it from a Nick Woolsey video way back in the day, but the thinking essentially boils down as such. When we're performing isolations in wheel or wall plane, we are having to fight gravity, and that is part of what makes this such a challenging endeavor. But we can kind of learn isolations with training wheels by simply performing the same motion but in a horizontal plane. This is called stirring the pot. Alright, so here's how this is going to work. You're going to start off by marking the center of the poi. Either you can do this in your imagination or you can do it physically with, say, a Sharpie or a piece of tape. And once you got that midpoint marked, you're going to let the poi hang beneath your hand. As you look down, I want you to try and spin your hand and the poi head both around that midline. It does help here if you have it actually marked, because then you can just visualize it being kind of frozen in space as you spin both the poi and your hand. But essentially, you just drill, keeping the poi head and hand at opposite ends of a circle by visualizing the midpoint of the poi as being the middle of that circle as well. This is also a useful exercise just for getting down horizontal isolations in general, which I personally think are an underutilized horizontal plane trick. They look really cool, and bonus, they give you skills that'll be helpful for performing this trick in a vertical plane. Alright, you've learned how to add and subtract energy from the poi, you have learned how to create things that look like isolations, and now you've performed isolations in a horizontal plane. Now it's time to actually bring those isolations into a vertical plane. Drill number 4, the crank. Alright, so straight up, this is the most powerful drill I have ever encountered for getting down isolations. Here's the way it works. You want to go ahead and take one hand and stick it out in front of yourself like you're about to block a karate chop. Your other hand is going to hold the poi. You're probably going to want to shorten it up just a little bit, and you're going to hang the poi behind the forearm of the arm that's reaching out in front of you. Here's why. What you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to try and move your hand around your forearm, like so. But you're going to try and keep it continuous such that your poi head and your hand are both going around your wrist at the same time. And this just in and of itself is way more challenging than it first appears. If you go too fast through it, then you wind up with the poi flying off into space. If you go too slow, the poi just wraps around your arm and you never get started. The whole point of this is finding that balance point where both the poi head and your hand are both moving at the same time. It should be said that some people kind of have a little bit of a cheat that they'll do with this exercise when they're first performing it. Namely, as they have their hand and poi going around their forearm, they'll start moving the forearm as well to try and help out the poi as it goes around. This is fine when you're first starting off, and quite frankly, if that's where you find yourself within your first few repetitions of trying it, it's not a bad place to be in. But once that is working for you, dare yourself to try and keep your forearm as still as possible and just let your hand in poi go around that wrist. That'll be when you know that you've got the technique down. All right, let's say that you've got the basic mechanics of your isolations down and you're starting to experience some success performing them. Now what? Drill number 5, the 4 positions. All right, so no BS, this was the drill that finally made the pieces come together for me and made it so that I could perform isolations whenever and wherever I wanted to. Here's how this works. You need to start off by essentially imagining that there are 4 quadrants around your body. You've got your back side, you've got your front side. On the front side, you're going to be spinning in your dominant direction, mine is clockwise, and on your back side, you're going to be spinning in your non-dominant direction. That's counterclockwise for me. Now, on each side of you, whether it be the front side or the back side, you also want to think that there's a bit where you're going to have your left hand in front and a bit where you're going to have your right hand in front. This is where it is helpful to have down those skills of knowing the lanes of poi. This is a thing that I teach in order to help you keep your poi spinning split time same direction in wall plane. I will go ahead and leave a link to a video on how to do that down in the description, as well as up in the cards if you're watching on YouTube. But essentially, you want to be able to do your planes such that you can do your left hand forward and your right hand forward, both on your clockwise side as well as your counterclockwise side. All right, so our next step here is that we want to try doing reps with our hands in poi in all 4 positions. So we want to try and do 10 reps with our left hand forward spinning clockwise, 10 reps with our right hand forward spinning clockwise, 10 reps with our right hand forward spinning counterclockwise, and 10 reps with our left hand forward spinning counterclockwise. Once we have all 4 of these positions down, we can actually just walk around in a circle with them. We can imagine transitioning back and forth from each side of our body as we keep our isolations going, just by switching back and forth which hand is in front. The thing I love most about this drill is that not only will it get you more comfortable with performing your isolations in general, but it grants you full mobility with your isolations too, so you can work them completely into your flow and be able to gain full mobility with them. This, a trick that a lot of people are even struggling to try and do at all. Now, if you're looking for a little bit more hands-on help with your poi isolations, you're in luck, because I am teaching a live stream poi dance class all about isolations and how to move with them. Not just the kind of basic skills that you need in order to get isolations down, but how to get true freedom of movement with them and be able to dance around with them. I can bring people on screen to help them out with individual problems, and every single class is recorded so you can go back and watch it whenever you'd like. To learn more about that course, you can go to crowdcast.io/DrexFactor Poi. And as a special offer to people who've watched this video, you can get 10% off the price of the course when you use the code ISOLATION at checkout. Go check that out, and please join us. What are your favorite tips for getting down poi isolations? Let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to help other people find this video and to help my channel grow. This video would not be possible without all of my amazing Patreon supporters. In particular, I would love to give a shout out to my Flow patrons who are listed on screen right now. If you'd like to check out some more tutorials that I have on intermediate and beginner poi tricks, I'll go ahead and leave a link to a playlist of those down in the description. Also, if you would like to support the channel, I have a Patreon. I will leave a link to that down there as well. Pretty please. I need your help to keep these videos coming. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Peace.